Hello, good morning. I am live on LinkedIn, I think. Just waiting for a message from my colleague to make sure it's all gone live okay. Please bear with. Hope you're all doing good this morning. It was lovely and sunny this morning, but now it's turned a bit grey. But yeah, hopefully you can all hear me okay. Okay, we've got the all good, all clear. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today for our very first LinkedIn Live webinar, How Your Brand Can Win at Social in 2023. So hopefully you can see my slides as well, and me in the corner. I'm hoping that's what you can see, because the slides are going to be very useful for what I'm talking about today. So so I basically ran this workshop at Building Brands, which is why the logo's on there. So that was a couple of weeks ago now, 2 weeks today actually, at Exeter University. My first time ever doing a talk like that, so I was super nervous, but it went down really well. Had a really good time, actually really enjoyed it, and just sharing kind of our knowledge and our thoughts and the trends that we've picked up on for next year. So really delighted to be sharing them with you today. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Apparently everything's all working fine. So in that case, I will go ahead and crack on. So first of all, why am I here talking to you about social media today? So I think one of my uni friends has joined on today. So hello, Sophie, if you're here. So I've always been fascinated by visual design and written communication and how when combined, they can have powerful effects on people and audiences. I studied advertising and marketing at Bournemouth University, and me and my friends, who you can see in the picture there, had a great time pretending we were working in an agency and delivering pretend pitches to our tutors. So after graduating, I then spent 18 months in the industry working as a copywriter for leisure and adventure brands. And after a short break traveling in Central America, I went straight into freelancing, putting my learnings into practice, helping food and drink brands, predominantly in the Southwest, to grow and prosper, a lot of the time through social media. So in 2017, I met my partner, Nathan, who's a fellow marketeer. And after some more traveling in our camper van during COVID, working remotely, we set up Altimedia, and that was really where we began to set up the agency and get the ball rolling for our business and what it is today. So I'm Abby Miller, and I'm a co-founder of Altimedia. We are a digital marketing agency that partners with hungry brands to attract, convert, and retain more customers. And we harness the power of lifecycle and email marketing through Klaviyo. So we're Klaviyo partners, social media, design, and content to do this for our clients. And these are some of the brands that we've worked with so far at Altimedia on their social. So please do say hello and ask any questions in the chat today. I am using a third-party tool for this, and it's the first time. So I really am trying to understand where everything is. I can now see some chat bits. So hi Isla, hi Laura, thanks for saying hello. I finally found the chat comments. Brilliant. Hello, thanks for coming along. So excuse my croaky voice today. I do have a little bit of a sore throat, but powering on through. So let's get down to business. Some of these you'll be able to see behind me on our little display. So yeah. So what we'll be covering today. So there is no doubt that social media has caused many of you here today a few headaches over the last year or so. It's certainly been one that's been hard to keep up with. So first of all, we're going to start off with why invest in social media. I think some brands have definitely, it has been a bit of a tricky one for them over the last few years. Some brands thinking, what's the point in social media at all? We really believe in the value of social for brands and for businesses. So we're going to be talking about why we think you should be investing in it. Then we're going to be talking through the core basis of good social media. So first of all, starting off with your objectives, and we'll be guiding you through how we decide on those, and then evaluating your channels as well. Then we'll move on to the top 9 things that you need to do to stay ahead of the ever-changing world of social next year. So first of all, I'd like to give you an overview of short form video and how that is still reigning on social media. Next, I'll focus on how social is the new search, and then we'll consider how platforms are going all in on audio. Then I'll go on to highlight how you should be counting on creators to lead the way for your social strategy. Next, I'd like to address the power of community in social media next year. Then we'll look at social commerce and selling products directly through your social media, which is this trend set to dominate next year. Then we'll be talking about building your brand. We've got some really good case studies of how you can build your brand and stay true to your brand on social media. Then we'll talk about customer care and how it's moving to social and how it's gone far beyond customer service now. It's a far more proactive approach. And finally, I'd like to raise employee advocacy. So let's get on to it. So I started university in 2010. So this was the year that Instagram launched. So Facebook was undoubtedly the key player at the time. We'd all go on nights out and take cameras and just literally upload about 100 pictures of our night out to Facebook. So things have definitely changed since then. At the time, a few of us had Instagram and were playing around with like the artsy shots and the filters on there that they had at the time. And it was very much, static image with filters over the top. And interestingly, throughout my course, we only had one module on digital, and I did an advertising with marketing communications course. So it's crazy to think how the landscape has changed in the last decade. So today, social media has grown into a powerful tool for people, businesses, and creators to tell their story, grow their audience, and connect with people all around the world. And it's not stopping anytime soon. In 2023, the global social media user base is expected to grow by another 300 million, with the total number of users rising to 4.89 billion. So that's over half of the global population. So why should your brand or your business be investing in social? Well, first of all, as I'm sure you're all aware, we are heading into, I don't think anyone's quite sure, heading into a recession, which means that consumer spending drops. And this means that building your brand is more important now than it's ever been. Recessions is when you need to be being front of mind for the consumer, front of mind for your audience, so that when they're ready, you're there and they can buy. So the cost of acquisition has been steadily increasing over the last couple of years, which means that retention has now become a really important factor in terms of marketing. It's something that comes up so often with all of our clients when deciding on strategy. Retention is no doubtedly where we're focusing a lot of our efforts on at the moment with a lot of our client base. Retaining a customer is 5 to 7 times cheaper than acquiring a new one. So another reason to just really make sure you're there for your existing customer base. And social media is probably the best tool for building and nurturing meaningful relationships with your clients, customers, and audience. So the total time spent on apps is only increasing. We're going to go into a bit more detail on that later. And social is now a key part of the decision-making and buying process for consumers. So it's no longer just about the research phase. And we'll go into more detail on that shortly. So first of all, I'd love to hear in the chat if any of you have had social media objectives set for this year. If you did, huge well done. It's a great place to start. You need to start here if you want to win the social media. You need to know what good looks like for you. If you know that, then you know where you're heading and you know what you need to do to get there. And if you haven't had social media objectives set for this year, then fine, no problem. You're here today and you're probably here for a reason. So hopefully, hopefully we'll be able to guide you on that journey and help you decide what objectives you should be focusing on and how you might put a strategy in place to help you achieve them. Please let me know in the comments if you do want to set objectives for this year. Would be really interested to hear. So to win at social media, your brand and your team needs to know what good looks like for you and your business. And good is different for every business, right? So what are you aiming for? What are you and your team putting the time, energy, budget, effort into social media for? And we all know social media does take a lot of time. It's a very time-intensive channel. So you need to be making sure that you're using your time to the best effect. So when we start working with a new client, we quite often get asked, can we just start posting from the 1st of December, for example? That we come up against that quite a lot. But we always have to push back to this. We can't just simply start posting on client accounts. There's a lot of work to be done beforehand in terms of looking at objectives, objective setting, really understanding your business and your goals and what you're trying to achieve. And then we can help with how we can help you get there using social media and other channels. But today we're talking about social media. So this discovery and objective setting phase is absolutely crucial. So what might they be? So understanding what you're trying to achieve will help you determine what metrics you need to track, and therefore your strategy and where to focus your time. So how can social media help you to achieve these examples? So starting with your objectives. So for example, you might be trying to increase listings in supermarkets if you're a food and drink brand, like we do work a lot with actually here at Altum. Potentially you're looking to recruit new talent. So that's definitely something a lot of businesses we've been talking to have struggled with this year. It's been a huge one for businesses across the UK. And social media can actually help you achieve that. Potentially you're looking to launch a new product into a new market or a new audience that your business hasn't operated in before. Or perhaps your goal is to simply drive revenue. I say simply, but yeah, that's obviously a really big objective for a lot of businesses and one that we are quite often working towards for our clients. So social media can actually help you achieve the above examples. They can help feed into your wider business objectives. So for example, an increase in followers and boosting engagement on your channels might make your brand more attractive to buyers if you are a food and drink brand. Building brand awareness and employee advocacy, which we're going to talk a bit more about later, will get more people wanting to work for your business and your brand. And yeah, as I said, that's a big issue at the moment for a lot of businesses. So social media can really play a really key part in that. So just checking out you're checking out the comments in the chat. Great, okay. So these are the top social media goals for social marketers for social. So this is taken from Sprout Social. So we are a partner of Sprout Social. Hey Rosie, if you're tuning in today, I hope you feel better. So yeah, quite often brands are looking to increase brand awareness using social media. Secondary to that is sales and lead generation. Then 48% are looking to increase community engagement on their channels. 46% are looking to grow their brand's audience, and 45% are hoping to increase web traffic from social media to their website. So there's just an example of some of the social media objectives that your brand could be looking to achieve next year when you come to setting your objectives. So this is the brand growth funnel, and I'm sure many of you have seen different versions of this throughout your career so far. This is the version that we use a lot at Altum when we're discussing objectives and what our clients are trying to achieve. So, of course, at the top of the funnel, you have the awareness stage. So that's really about people knowing your brand. So that's the metrics for that would be like reach and recognition. The next phase is consideration. So how many of those who are aware of your brand or your business would actually consider making a purchase from you? The conversion phase is a critical buying decision to disregard the competitors and make a purchase from your brand. The loyalty phase of the funnel is so people who've had a positive experience with your brand and enough to make more than just one purchase. So they're loyal customers. And then advocacy, this is really the difference. And someone asked me at the end of the last workshop is what is the difference between loyalty and advocacy? And I think loyalty is where you're buying more than once, but advocacy is really where you love the brand so much that you are happy to recommend that brand to others and be a recommender and someone who's going to grow it through word of mouth. So this really is the pinnacle of marketing, and this is where you want all of your customers to be. So what we're really trying to do through social media in this case is really funnel people down this all through the stages so that they become loyal and advocates for your brand. And the other thing to mention is that people will always be joining this funnel. So as you have new followers, reach new people, have new customers come on board, people will be joining this funnel at any one point. And it's important to note that there's always going to be people in each of the funnel stages as well. So it's really important when considering your content for social that you're making content that caters for each of those groups on social, and that's really how you're going to be able to pull people down into that advocacy stage. So some examples of that in practice. So I don't have time to go through like this in a lot of detail. I could probably just do a workshop on this, to be honest. But today I'm just going to give you a few examples so you can see that in practice and how you can use social to do that. So for example, with the awareness phase, as I mentioned earlier, you're really going to be looking for reach and recognition. So the metrics will be views, shares, followers, those kind of metrics. And how you're going to do that next year in 2023 is you're going to have to be bold and you're going to have to be different and you're going to have to get creative. You're not going to be able to get awareness without paid advertising, just kind of posting the same old content that you've always done, especially like if you're just doing images and you haven't moved into like Reels or TikTok. You really have to start like jumping on the trends, and yeah, that's where you'll see reach happen for you next year without paid ads. So the next stage, consideration. So this is where you want people to actually make that purchasing decision to buy from your brand. So you have to make it really clear for people to do that. You have to be really clear about what you're offering them for them to make that decision. So clearly and regularly communicating your offers. So not just your promotional offers, I'm talking about your values and what you offer as a business. So if you're a service-based business, like what are your services? What are the benefits of someone working with you? If you're a brand, like, you know, what do you stand for? What does your company stand for? And how do you get that out on social? So the next phase, conversion. So this is about making it easy for people to buy from you from social media. So you're going to be wanting to show off your products. So a really great way to do that is through video, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So showing off your products and their benefits in the form of short form video. And then it's also about, if you are a D2C brand, making sure you have your social commerce shop set up as well, so people can seamlessly buy from you all within the social apps. Again, we'll come on to more of that later. So loyalty, this is if you do have an ambassador program. If you don't, then it might be something you want to consider. But this is a really great group of people where you can actually get really rich content from. And sharing content from your ambassadors will just show that you do have a really loyal customer base, and will just help people think, oh, you know, this is a really great brand. I should be involved with this. This is something that I want to be a part of. And the other really important part of that is replying and engaging with everyone. Gone are the days of kind of just liking every comment. Like, you really have to engage now on social media if you want to win at it, and if you want to build meaningful relationships on your channel. Finally, advocacy. So as I mentioned, these are people who are recommending your brand to others. So a key piece of content that we like to use here is reviews and testimonials. So we do it a lot for ourselves at Altum, but we're also sharing a lot of reviews and testimonials for our clients in terms of like tasting notes, any kind of reviews that they might leave on Google or on your website or on Facebook, Instagram. If there's a really lovely piece of content there from a user, that is a really powerful message that you can use. So do get in touch with them, ask them if you can share it and use it in your marketing, and then really do shine a light on that, because that's real world use of your products and people loving it in the real world. And there's nothing more powerful than that. So just going to have a little check-in. Oh, hey, Kez. I think maybe I've just answered that question for you, actually. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I will try and keep checking back to the comments. I'm on a different tab. So, okay, so evaluating your channels. So I'd love to hear in the chat how many channels your brand is on. Yeah, I mean, we at Altum, I'll come on to this in a bit more detail later, but some people will be on 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. There's a lot of channels to consider now. These aren't all of them, of course. But I think, yeah, the main message here is just don't presume that Facebook and Instagram are the best for you because they're the biggest. Really think about, who is your brand talking to, and where is your audience hanging out, and what kind of content do they enjoy? Once you've thought about that, and building customer personas and audience personas is a great way to really understand kind of the psychographics and demographics of your audience and what channels might be best for them. And we do have some templates for those. If anyone wants them, do get in touch. We have them for B2B and B2C, so I can send them across afterwards. Please just drop me an email, abby@altamedia.co.uk, and I can get them sent over to you. And then once you've thought about like what kind of content they enjoy, what kind of things they like, then you have to think about how your brand can fit into that in a meaningful and authentic way. So most of the businesses we talk to in the Southwest struggle to maintain 3 channels well if they're managing it in-house. And that's purely just because of, team, how much time they have in the team. So it's really important to don't spread yourself too thinly. If you really evaluate which ones you can have the time to do and to do really well, that's where you'll see the most success next year. So think about what is achievable with your team, their skills, their time, your resources, and also your budget that you're putting towards social media. And that's also something to consider if you're working with an agency as well, is obviously, how is that budget best used? Are you better off working on 1 or 2 channels and doing them really well? Or we'll just always say don't spread yourself too thinly. Do less and do it better. So for Altum, for example, we predominantly use LinkedIn and Instagram. That's where our audience is hanging out. So on LinkedIn, those of you who are here, hello. So we work with a lot of business, we're B2B, so a lot of businesses are on LinkedIn, a lot of professionals. And then on the other side, on Instagram, we have a lot of brand owners, a lot of brand marketing managers will be working within the Instagram channel. So that's also another important channel for us. So they're the 2 ones we focus on predominantly. We do have TikTok, but again, we are a super small team. There's 6 of us full time. So we are working on client work a lot of the time. So we do struggle to maintain our own channels when we're doing a lot of work for our clients. So we do have TikTok, but it's not a huge focus for us. We would love it to be. I think it's definitely the one that we'd invest in next, but we're mainly there to make sure we're on top of trends and keep an eye on what's going on for our clients. Okay, so for example here, just a couple of examples of how that might work. So potentially you're a tile manufacturing company. So you might want to be posting inspirational interior design pictures on Pinterest, for example. Or if you're a travel company, that would also be a really good channel for you to consider. If you're a financial advisor, for example, tap into the Money Talk community on TikTok and connect with business owners and professionals on LinkedIn. If you're professional services, so I know we did have some accountants and solicitors signed up for today's session. If you're here, please do say hello. But you'll really want to be becoming a thought leader in your industry. So hosting webinars on LinkedIn like this. This is a first for us, but it's a really important part of our own marketing as a business. And happy to share with you kind of how we're doing this today. We're using a tool called Restream. It's a paid-for tool, but it's very affordable if you are going to focus on doing LinkedIn Lives. There's also the LinkedIn newsletter, which is really cool tool now, which we've started recently. And you can harness the power of key people in your business and encourage them to grow their personal brand. So that's that employee advocacy piece, which I'll be talking about more later. So I don't have time to evaluate all the pros and cons of all of these channels today. Again, that could be a workshop in itself. So do let me know if you're thinking, oh, I'd love to know more about that. We are going to be planning our next webinar. So any thoughts or ideas on what you'd like to hear about next in terms of social or any of the other services that we offer. We're really keen to get your thoughts, so please do share. But today I am going to spend a bit more time talking about TikTok, as it's one of the newest and fastest growing channels and is where a lot of brands are seeing a lot of success at the moment. Whilst I'm talking about TikTok, I'd just like to give a shout out to Kez, who is actually in the chat today. So Kez manages the TikTok channel for Powderham Castle and has done an amazing job of that channel. We often have a little look at that and just massive pat on the back to you, Kez, for that. If you don't follow Powderham Castle, then go ahead and do it, because Kez has done some really great stuff on there, and it's a really good example of how you can use trends, jumping on trends to grow your audience and really become famous on the channel. So well done, Kez. So TikTok has quickly become the go-to place for short-form video content and is ruffling enough feathers over at Meta to have Instagram constantly rolling out changes to compete with them. So maybe you have a TikTok account personally. Would love to hear from you in the chat if you do and if you use it. And then also if your brand has a TikTok account as well, please do say hello and let us know, and we'll make sure we're following you. If you work in social or manage a brand, then please stop putting TikTok off. It's projected there will be 15 million UK TikTok users in 2025. And that is a huge statistic that cannot be ignored by marketing teams. So this is a chart showing monthly active users of TikTok across the globe. So you can see that TikTok has very quickly overtaken the mainstream channels of Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and even Snapchat. So it's quickly overtaken those, and it's fast approaching, sorry, not Instagram, it's fast approaching Instagram. Yeah, so it's catching up very fast. In terms of Twitter, who knows what's going to happen with that now that Elon Musk, now that it's in the hands of Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one and see what happens. But yeah, TikTok is definitely one to keep an eye on and one that shouldn't be ignored. The other thing to note is that across all of the kind of key channels that you can see here, so YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, year-on-year change of time spent using the social media apps has decreased across the board, apart from TikTok. So you can see that it's gone up by 37%, which is huge. So the reason for that is that they have a really powerful algorithm. So for those of you who haven't yet downloaded TikTok, I recommend you do, even just to kind of, understand how it works. It's a really powerful tool, and the algorithm that populates it is really powerful as well. So the main reason that people are on the app for so long is because of the For You page, which is also called the FYP. So as you scroll through, the makeup of videos you're presented with slowly begins to change until it becomes almost uncannily good at predicting what content you're going to enjoy and what content will pique your interest. So personalized content is delivered to you based on your interests, your needs, and your actions. So the other thing to think about with TikTok is that actually it's a very different channel. And I think really we need to be thinking about TikTok in a bit more like TV, in the way that people are going there to escape and they're going there to be entertained. They aren't going on there to learn about, your latest product and all of the different elements of it. They're going on there to escape. So yes, those messages are key for you to get across in your marketing, but you really have to have some fun with it on TikTok and be creative with how you get those messages across. So TikTok demographic. So when I was putting this together, I think this is just something that I really wanted to highlight, because I think a lot of clients we talk to, when it comes to TikTok, they're quite nervous about it. They still think it's very much a young person's channel. But I just kind of really wanted to put this here to show that TikTok is not just for young people anymore. The demographics have really broadened in the last kind of 18 months. And what we're seeing now is where actually 53% of all TikTok users are 30 plus. So a really interesting channel for you to be thinking about. Age 40 to 49 is 20%. It's not far off the age 20 to 29 bracket. So really just think about that when you're thinking about who your audience is and what kind of channels they're on and what channels you should be using for social media. So hopefully this has debunked the perception that TikTok is only for dancing teenagers. And hopefully you'll be considering it if you have the time and the resources and the budget to do a good job of it and put what it needs towards it. So for those of you who aren't on TikTok, I really just wanted to show kind of like top 3 brands that are doing it really well. There's a lot of brands really nailing TikTok, but these are kind of 3 big ones that are worth you following if you've just downloaded the app, for example, to see how you could be using it for your business. So Little Moons, Ryanair, Nando's. Please do, anyone else who's on TikTok and has their favorite businesses that they follow, please do pop them in the chat. I think there's a lot that we can learn from these businesses by watching them. Duolingo is another really, really big one that's done well. Please do share. I'd love to hear which brands you're enjoying. So 3 brands that you need to follow, but what do they all have in common? So these brands and all of the brands that do well, they're all posting like creators. So instead of being brands online, they're actually much more personable. And quite often there's a team of people who are running the accounts, and it's the same people, like Kes, for example, at Powderham, or they have like characters as well. So for example, the Ryanair, they quite often humanize their plane. That's a big part of their content and what they do. And the Duolingo Owl is another one. So yeah, just think about how can I do this where I'm not being really brandy. The entertainment first. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, TikTok is where people are going to be entertained. So you need to be thinking about that when you're creating your content. They're hugely driven by audio. We'll talk more about that. They engage and interact with all of their audience and people who engage with them. They always go back to them. And TikTok finally has its own strategy. It's not cross-posted from Reels. It's taken as a serious strategy. And to be honest, it really does need it for it to do well. I can share these slides with you, and I have a link to the Little Moons TikTok case study, which is a really interesting one. But we're going to talk a little bit more about Little Moons. Would be really interested again to hear in the chat if you have heard of Little Moons, where you originally heard about them. I certainly heard about them for the first time from TikTok, and it's where I'm sure a lot of people have heard about them for the first time. So how did they go viral and see these kind of results that I've screenshotted here? So first of all, they launched their TikTok account, and they started posting inspiring, engaging, and entertaining content, and it really started snowballing organically from there. When this started snowballing, they bought a very modest media buy from TikTok. They ran a one-day max in-feed ad, which displays natively in that For You page that I was telling you about. And it's one of the first ads and posts that a user sees when they open the app. So it looks really native. It looks really, it's really in keeping with the channel. It doesn't really look like an ad. It just means you're getting seen by more people. And then following that and the success of that had, the team then contacted journalists from mainstream media who were invited to write about the developing phenomenon of what's been going on with Little Moons, which, by the way, are the little mochi, the little ice cream, Japanese-inspired ice cream treats that you can buy in the freezer aisle. So not something we really has been big in the UK at all, but it certainly is now, and it's all pretty much down to TikTok for this brand. So what I wanted to show this for is that TikTok and social in general can have really profound impacts on your business. 700% increase in sales at Tesco. They also saw 400% increase in sales at Waitrose during this campaign. So huge results. Definitely TikTok is one to think about for your brand. So now we're going to move on to the 9 top tips to win at social in 2023. I need to hurry up. I feel like I've been a bit slow here. Sorry. So short form video content reigns. So consumers are finding short form videos 2.5 times more engaging than long form videos. So you have Reels on Meta, you have TikTok, you have YouTube Shorts, Pinterest video pins, and LinkedIn. Short form video is all the rage right now. And short form video ranks #1 for lead generation and engagement for brands. And as a result, 30% of social media marketers plan to invest in it more than any other trend that's come out of next year. So this is my team on a video content shoot for our client Sleepy Owl. They have the only treehouse with a retractable bath in the UK. So it is on runners and it can go from inside to outside. It's super cool. And this was a boiling hot day. But we were there purely to get vertical social video content for their channels. And it's really important that you're telling your story for each platform and using all of the features that are available to you within that platform to really make your video content go further. So one approach does not work for all. So as I mentioned earlier, product videos. So here we have makeup brand Bobbi Brown working with lifestyle and beauty influencer and creator Lauren McDermott to create real-world authentic video content that is useful for the audience. So it's showing there how she's using the product. And it's also achieving social proof from aligning your brand with well-respected influencers in the industry. So yeah, huge step there. 46% of consumers want to watch product videos before buying. That's come from Shopify. Next up, social is the new search. This is a really interesting one that's come out of this year. So TikTok has ended Google's reign of 15 years as the most used website. So that is absolutely huge. So young people are shifting to social media to search for products, find things to do, places to go, and topics that they want to learn about. Platforms are playing up to their new functionality, and young audiences hunger for digestible, relatable content, enabling users to search, discover, and learn all in one app, completely bypassing the need to search and research on Google like us millennials or anyone above that does. So they're completely they're missing out the search engine step altogether, and they're heading straight to TikTok or Instagram to find things they want to do. So if your business is targeting Gen Z, you really need to be rethinking your search strategy and making sure that social media is a part of that. So how do you get discovered in social search? So as with most search, so keywords is really important. So you're going to be wanting to use your brand keywords in your captions, in your in-video content. So TikTok as well can scan your video content and any text you have in there to find keywords. Your bio, your profile name, your handle, and your links are all searchable. So do have a little review of that and make sure you're getting your keywords in there. Hashtags, so these are both searchable and clickable across social media platforms. So a really important and just a really important way for consumers to research and find things that they're interested in. So you do make sure you're having a think about how you're using those. Geotag, so tagging the location in all relevant posts. We try and tag the location in all posts where we can. It just adds another step of searchability for your posts. And then accessibility, so a really key one as well for 2023 to be thinking about. So adding alt text to all your images and adding captions to all your videos. So you're increasing the chances of who can see and hear and read your content. So another thing to add to this is that TikTok has recently increased the character limit in captions from 300 to 2,200. So that's a 730% increase in that space in the caption. So it just shows kind of where they're going with the app. They're really wanting to give businesses, brands and creators the chance to be found through their powerful search functionality. So do make use of that extra space. Number 3, so platforms are going all in on audio. So Twitter has Spaces, Facebook has live audio rooms, Clubhouse has Clubhouse. Now LinkedIn is grabbing a seat at the table as well with its own audio feature. TikTok places huge importance on audio, and unlike other platforms which have traditionally emphasized creating content for sound off environments with captions, in order to kind of maximize who can see it. If someone's at work scrolling, for example, they can still see and understand your content. TikTok has repeatedly noted that sounds and audio is crucial to the user experience, and I think anyone who has been on TikTok will understand that. And marketers really need to be considering audio as an equally significant element as the visuals in their content, if not more so. So we're really thinking about going audio first on a lot of these platforms now, especially TikTok. So Instagram is even rolling out letting you add a song to your profile. So there's a lot happening in the audio world on social. And if you're in your 30s, that'll remind you of another social media channel back in the day. Shout out to MySpace. So yeah, we're definitely seeing kind of full circle coming back in terms of that audio feature. So really do think carefully how you're using it. So to see that in practice, we did a little test for our client Fish for Thought. So these are 2 foodie recipe videos. One went out, the one on the right went out with original audio from Canva, using their tools that they have in Canva for audio. And then the one on the left went out with trending audio, Nina Simone Austin Mills remix, which was absolutely huge a couple of months ago. And you can just see there in terms of the reach, the plays and the engagement, the effect that's had. And we're seeing that across the board with all the kind of tests that we're doing. Trending audio is absolutely key. And someone asked me after the when I did the talk at Building Brands about using audio for brands and how that's difficult in terms of copyright. But there's lots of kind of creators out there, lots of people who have kind of clocked onto this and they're remixing things which are possible for businesses to use. So there are options out there, and I'll show you now how to find those. So using trending audio and trending sounds on Instagram Reels and TikTok. So this is about Reels. So first of all, when you're scrolling your Reels feed, you'll want to be looking in the bottom left-hand corner for this little arrow. This arrow means that it's a trending sound on Reels. So once you've found that and you think, oh, that's good for my brand, or I've got an idea of how I can use that, if you click on that, you'll then be brought to the next screen, which is the one on the right. And you can save the audio down to use at a later date, or you can go ahead and use the audio there and then. So that's kind of like the manual search way of looking for it. There's also, I really recommend you following the creator account on Instagram. So they bring out a weekly trend report. This is a little bit old now, it's from a couple of weeks ago, but they bring out a trend report of what's trending, so what audio is trending at the moment. So that's also another quick way of finding out what you should be jumping on. But yeah, the idea is to jump on trending audio as soon as it kind of starts to grow, and that's where you'll see the best results for your business and your reach. So on TikTok, similarly, they have a tool. So the TikTok Creative Center is really useful. That's the screenshot here that you can see in the middle. It shows you trending hashtags, songs, creators, and videos. And that's just a really good one for you to bookmark on your tabs and just, keep referring to so you can see what's going on in the world of social media. There's a couple of other ones. So this one on the right is Talkboard, but to be fair, I think the Creative Center is the best one. So go ahead and use that. So an example of brands jumping on audio and using audio to help grow their brands. So Elf Eyes Lips Face is a makeup company. They were the first company to commission a song for TikTok, and Elf really knows how to get its audience tuned in. So the beauty brand's first branded sound was Eyes Lips Face. Let me know if you saw this trend going around a few weeks ago. Well, it's been going around for ages actually, and it still is. So as a result of this, thousands of content creators, influencers, and celebrities, including Jessica Alba, who you can see in the GIF there, joined in on the lip sync and makeup tutorial trend. The campaign amassed over 3.8 billion posts, so absolutely huge results for that company in terms of reach and awareness. So number 4, count on creators to lead the way. If you haven't already, it's time for your brand to tap into the creator economy. Social partnerships are very effective when executed correctly. And social partnerships can drive traffic to your website, they can help produce compelling content for your brand, and they can inspire purchase decisions as well. And it's no wonder when 61% of consumers trust influencers' recommendations. So here we have a screenshot from Sprout Social, our partner, and this shows the most important qualifications of creators when working with brands. So this is ranked by marketers and consumers, interestingly. So number 1 is about their experience with the product. Number 2 is their authenticity. So what we're seeing really after years and years of filters and photoshops on Instagram, consumers are having now a real yearning for the real, especially within the Gen Z demographic. So when you're choosing creators to work with, do really choose those where their authenticity shines. Authentic content and engagement beats follower count now in terms of working with influencers and creators. 81% of consumers will unfollow creators if they post sponsored content more than a few times a week as well. So that's another thing to watch out for when you're choosing your creators. So an example of this in practice, so the North Face, huge brand collaborating with Jimmy Chin. Jimmy Chin is a National Geographic photographer. So this is a wonderful brand creator partnership that really does just make sense. Chin's existing audience of over 110,000 followers of nature lovers is the perfect target for the North Face's camping gear campaign. And what's important to note here is that, this isn't a stage shot. Jimmy Chin is kind of living this life, and the North Face's brands and products are seamlessly slotting into that and becoming part of that narrative. So this is a lovely example, but it might seem a bit bit out of reach for a lot of brands. That's fine. I think what's really interesting to note is that micro influencers with less than 15,000 followers are actually benchmarked to have higher engagement rates on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So there is a real opportunity there for smaller brands to grow their presence when working with creators. So there's the TikTok Creator Marketplace. I have got some links in the slides if you do want them afterwards, with a few tools that you can use to help find your next creators. An example of this in practice is us working with micro influencer Explore with Simone with our client Sleepy Owl Devon. So the brief was to produce a bank of beautiful content and reach a relevant audience. So an audience of high-end luxury travel lovers in the area. And not only did it fit the brief in terms of reaching those objectives, but it also can lead to PR opportunities. So Canopy and Stars loved the content so much that they then wanted to share, and that has been shared on their channels, or is going to be shared on their channels soon. So there's a real snowball effect that can come from working with creators. And we've had a lot of other creators and brands get in touch with Sleepy Owl Devon as a result. Number 5, the power of community. So community is now key for success on social media. Hundreds of micro communities have found a home and found a global following on TikTok. Just like in the real world, when you have a niche community of people who believe in the same thing, you have a shared bond, and there's an overwhelming feeling of belongingness and connectedness. And TikTok is driving culture and influence far beyond the borders of the platform itself. It's actually driving culture in the real world as well. So brands looking to connect with audiences on this platform will do well to realise that digging a little deeper and learning more about these thriving communities such as cottagecore could help them engage and connect a lot more effectively with their audiences. And these communities are also can give brands a real exclusive insight around culture, and can be instrumental in informing future strategies for your brand as well. And not just your brand, but your business. So yeah, new product development and things like that. So find your niche corner of the internet and become a genuine part of that community. And you really do get out what you put in terms of community on social media. So perhaps you're a mortgage broker looking to tap into money talk, a homeware brand looking to capitalize on clean talk, or a children's retailer trying to get in on mum talk. There's some really interesting communities on TikTok. They can be as niche and wonderful as you can imagine. So do go and find your community, and I urge you to go and start becoming a part of it. Nearly there, sorry, we are running over a bit today. Social commerce is set to dominate. This will be recorded, by the way, and shared afterwards. So if you have other things to get onto, then feel free. But yeah, we will be able to share it afterwards on LinkedIn. So social commerce, really big one, a trend set to dominate the decade, actually. So social commerce is the act of selling goods or services directly within social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So this model lets brands and businesses create virtual storefronts that simplify online shopping experiences by meeting consumers where they are already. So that's on social media. So this is happening on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. The one you can see there on the left is Pinterest. And there's new developments coming from Twitter and YouTube as well. So social media is no longer just an awareness tool, as I mentioned earlier. It's for the initial research, consideration, right through to purchasing, customer service, and even feeds insights back into your business. It's where your customers are researching, buying, reviewing, sharing their thoughts with their friends about your brand and your products. And they're also communicating post-purchase with brands and communities about your brand. So if you're not there and part of the conversation and there every step of the way, yeah, that's what you need to be doing to win at social media in 2023. So TikTok Made Me Buy It the hashtag has had 9.4 billion views and counting. So it's no surprise that many products generating a buzz on TikTok are selling out really fast. It's also rumoured that TikTok is planning to launch warehousing, delivery, customer returns, processing as a service. So this really is a bit of an attempt at creating a kind of super app that pairs e-commerce and social media, which will definitely have the likes of Amazon concerned. So live shopping, I'm going to skim over this one quickly, but TikTok has seen huge success with live shopping streams in China, which was very much born out of COVID-19 lockdowns where people couldn't leave their homes. In Western regions, it hasn't quite taken off yet. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on whether you think it's going to or not. But yeah, TikTok live shopping, actually nothing new. We know this form of shopping, it's just jumped media from TV to TikTok. But you can very much have live interaction with the host. So you can say, can you try on the size 12 coat, please? Can I see the purple headphones you've got there? And there are all sorts of weird and wonderful things for sale on TikTok at the moment. And you're purchasing within the app as well. So again, something to go on and have a look around if you haven't really looked on there yet. So AR, this is a link to the social commerce. So proving to be a really big hit on socials, allowing TikTok users to see what they're purchasing in real time through intelligent AR. So you can see a really cringe screen recording of me there, trying on different lipsticks from Lancome. So these branded filters are gaining a lot of traction, meeting people where they are and without people having to leave their homes. So it's really good for things like glasses brands, sunglasses, hair color, beauty. It's brilliant for all of those things. So yeah, do you have a play on those as well? So number 7, building your brand. So this is really important in times of crisis. It's important you're finding unique and memorable ways to connect with your audience and strengthen your brand on social media. So what does your brand think? How does it act? What does it say? And what does it look like on social media? And across the channels individually, actually. It's important to set rules of how your brand does these things on social and on an individual channel basis as well, so that you can use the tools that are available to you. So for example, what fonts on TikTok and Instagram does your brand use? So be authentic. It's a really big word for marketing in general right now. And be transparent. They're really big things for 2023. And here are some of the reasons why. So when customers do feel more connected to brands, they're 76% more likely to buy your brand over a competitor, for example. So an example of this in practice, so Get Baked, I don't know if anyone's heard of Get Baked. It'd be really interesting to hear if you heard about Sprinklegate. I think it was last year now. But yeah, so Get Baked is a bakery in Leeds, and they went viral because they were using illegal sprinkles on their baked goods. So they got looked into by trading standards. Someone complained to them, and it was Get Baked's response that actually really skyrocketed this story into mainstream media. As a result, Get Baked's Instagram following went from 4,000 to 68,000 very quickly. And obviously the controversy of illegal sprinkles, brilliant, did attract all of those initial followers, but it's actually the founder's really unique tone of voice and consistency with that turned those fans into loyal followers who actually stayed following far beyond the scandal. He stuck with the dry, genuine, sarky tone that the brand has built its original presence on. And he was just really open about the whole experience, and people just really enjoyed tuning in and hearing about the updates. And this did go on for quite some time as well. So it got Get Baked through the crisis and beyond, and has skyrocketed them into a brand that's got a really loyal following now. So penultimate one, customer care moves to social. So say goodbye to the era of annoying music on phone queues and endless email chains. Nobody likes that anymore. So now immediate and accessible customer care through social media is available, and it provides a much needed direct line between buyers and businesses. So I encourage you to make connections in the comments, invite your audience to the DMs and have a chat with them. It's these personalized interactions that will really set your brand apart next year. So 40 to 50% of all consumer interactions with brands is actually for customer care. So a huge chunk of that. And it's just really important to acknowledge that and know that that's kind of, you need to be aware of that. So we see quite often customer service teams being really detached from social media, not necessarily having a login. Through our Sprout social platform, we can actually give customer service teams access and tickets to various different customer queries, which is a really useful tool. So if you are getting a lot of stuff through, it's definitely something to consider. It also integrates with like Zendesk and whatnot. So a really good way of kind of making sure you're making the most out of customer care on social. And do react to any complaint as well. So every complaint represents an opportunity to build a one-on-one relationship and an opportunity to turn it around for that customer. And speed of response is actually really important as well, especially with the 18 to 34-year-old demographic. They expect customer support to come back within 12 hours of a complaint. So yeah, making sure you've got customer care written into your strategy next year will be really important. And, you know, if you do a good job of it, it can actually serve as a bit of free advertising for you. Quite often customers will give businesses a shout out if they've been truly blown away by their service. So yeah, aim for this. This is kind of gold standard. So finally, and this is a very quick one, so thanks for bearing with me today, employee advocacy. So employee advocacy. So some of the best advocates for your brand aren't paid creators that we mentioned earlier or influencers. They're the people that you actually see every day, maybe in person or virtually. So they're your employees, your teammates. They are the best brand advocates that you can harness for your business. And up until recently have been a bit of an unsung hero, really. So with declining organic reach and the ad spend that comes with it, employee advocacy should be a key component of your broader social strategy for next year. 90% of B2B social media marketing strategies will have employee advocacy programs by next year. So it's definitely especially important for B2B. So if you are a B2B brand, accountants, solicitors, anything like that, really think about how you can harness your team to extend your reach and to grow your brand online. And I just want to share an example of this. So it really is a social superpower for you. And you're able to reach far beyond just your core audience that your brand has access to and tap into your team's extensive networks. So here, for example, this is on LinkedIn, Altimedia, we have, we had, hopefully it's gone up a bit since then, 828 followers, whereas our employee reach, all of ours combined, is 5,224. So, you know, if we're putting a post out on Altimedia, if we think about it and ask our team to put it out in their own words, in their own way, the reach is going far beyond what was ever possible just through Altimedia's channels. And this can also really help with winning trust with prospective employees, so helping out with that talent piece as well. So people really trust employee voice. It's actually 3 times more credible than the voice of a CEO or a founder. So something to really harness for your team. We're always telling our team to invest time in building their personal network. We think it's really important for our business, but also for them personally in their future as well. So I do recommend you do the same. There's lots of LinkedIn tutorials about how you can do this. So do have a little explore and tune into one. It's a great opportunity for your business. And I encourage you all, if you're here with us today, to please connect with the team. They're all a lovely bunch and we're all trying to grow our followers and grow our networks. So please do connect with us. We'd be really interested to chat to you further on there. I know we haven't had much time today for questions because I've kind of run over. This was set as a 45-minute kind of webinar that I did without questions. So yeah, I guess I didn't really allow for those. So apologies for that. But I will have a little look back and try and get back to you on those. I can see some people are kind of chatting to each other, which is really great. So thank you. Okay, so top 5 actions for next year. So post your first short form video this week with trending audio if you haven't done one already. Select a creator to work with in Q1 next year. Consider the brand growth funnel. So that was that funnel we had right back at the start. And think about how you're creating content for every level in your content plan. If you're direct-to-consumer brands, then set up your social shops, make sure they're optimized, especially ahead of Black Friday and the upcoming festive season. And finally, please reply to everything. Your brand has to be there for the consumer every step of the way to win at social in 2023. So that's it, we're done. Finally, I'd just like to put our newsletter, The Scoop, in front of you. So you can sign up to this on our website, but we also have a LinkedIn newsletter which we have launched very, very recently, a couple of weeks ago. So please sign up to that. You can find that on our Altimedia LinkedIn page. It's a monthly newsletter where we serve up our latest servings of social media, email marketing, and direct-to-consumer marketing trends. Please come and find us and chat to us personally as well. I will do my best to get back to these items in the chat, but I'm going to leave it there for today. Just in the interest of time. I know we've gone hugely over. So thanks for coming today. Really appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully you found it useful. Do drop me a DM. I'd be really interested to hear your feedback. Thank you so much. Have a good day.